Okay, so March is Social Work Awareness Month, and this year's theme is Break Barriers, and it's an opportunity to highlight the important contributions that social workers make to society and also raise some awareness about the challenges they face in their profession. I'm Amanda Fludd, the curator of this experience, this audacious project of mine to bring you a social worker a day for the next 30 days. And something in me says and hopes that it is possible based on the numbers. I think it is. So there's something like 708,000 employed social workers. And overall, our profession is actually one that's projected to grow 9% from 2021 through 2031. And it's one of the fastest growing occupations. So we're doing amazing things and we're growing quickly. But I can even say that at that rate, it's really not enough for the crisis that we're in around mental health, around services, advocacy, policy. We need more. And I hope that, people even take this experience as a call to step into the profession and continue to advance what's possible for the profession. Joining me today is Delverene Mills, MPA, MSW, LCSW-C. She's got letters, honey. And I would love to just get straight into it with you. So what does break barriers mean to you?
Oh, breaking barriers. It means that every day we are working with people in our community from diverse backgrounds to make healthy changes, erase the stigma about seeking help, breaking barriers that may help them, that may keep them stagnant and being their best possible self.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's so many things, right? And there's sometimes the
Yes.
obvious things, like challenges in the home, to, what's happening within us, like emotionally, right? And even things like stigma, right? Or things like access to care, things like structural racism. Like there's so many little things that become barriers. And I think it just speaks to the importance of the work that we do. So I love that you're like, no, we're here to dismantle that and shut it down.
We definitely have to. Because, for generations, it's been that stigma of seeking therapy, seeking help from outside people is taboo. It's not something that we do in our culture and other cultures within the world. So, I think that's part of the bigger picture of breaking barriers.
So part of it actually kind of starts with us.
Yes.
Yes, within our communities and within ourselves. Okay, so what motivated you to become a social worker and how did you get started in the field?
Well, actually, from when I was about a child, like 10 or 11 years old, I always wanted to say I wanted to be a social worker. And that was because I was surrounded in a community with children who weren't in foster care. So I always had this desire to help people in need. So that was my goal at that age. Then when I got a little older, I was in high school, people would say, "Oh, you always like to debate. You should be an attorney. You like to." So I kind of went down that path. Oh, I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna be, criminal justice major. I'm going to do, this is what I'm gonna do.
Right.
But lo and behold, got an undergrad and I started working with children and families in the community. So working with
Changed
the
you.
community, I fell back into my original role of what I wanted to do. But even during that time frame, I was working on my master's of public administration. So my goal was, okay, well, I wanted to be a director of a nonprofit organization. So here I am working with these kids, helping them accomplish their goals, crush their goals, working through
Doing the thing.
working with the families. Then, the rules and the regulations change within the helping field, within the social service field. But it's like, well, you have to be licensed in order to have this level.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I'm always finishing my MPA now as this is going on. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not a mediocre person, so I'm not just going to stay at this plant level. So, okay, well, I need to go back to school.
I love it. And that speaks to a lot
So,
of us, right? Like we don't settle for less. Like sometimes I think people see us as like we're just, oh, little helpers at the bottom, honey. But like we're strong people, we're fighters, we're strong-willed, right? We raise the bar high just for
exactly.
ourselves, right? And because we know the value of who we can help and that quality of service and care that's required.
Yeah, so I went back to school. I couldn't afford to not work because I was taking care of myself. So I went back to school for my MSW, working 40 hours a week, going to classes at night, and doing my internship.
She said
Still
it's
doing the work.
possible.
So I was still, I was still breaking it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this because I want to get licensed. I don't see myself leaving this field. I enjoy what I
Right.
do. I have experience working with substance abuse, the homeless population, juveniles, um, individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities,
Well-rounded, yeah.
just everything, and veterans and families and the communities, just a whole well-rounded. So I never saw myself actually leaving the field, just expanding my knowledge with the different populations.
I
So,
love that.
with the grace of God, I made it through
Don't
the
we do it?
MSW graduate program. People find it funny when they say, "Oh, you have two masters." I was like, "Oh, it's by accident," because in reality, that wasn't the plan. But I never saw myself leaving the field because I truly, truly enjoy what I do. So I had to take that step and go back to school.
I love it. And it's so powerful. And it just is sitting in such a good way. I never saw myself leaving. Like, that's how amazing this field is. And my mind goes to, I'm an adjunct at Fordham, and there's so many students that come from different professions, right? I'm talking like surgeons and teachers and creative arts folks, and they want to come into this profession, right? So people get that this is something special and amazing and a great place to be, and you can grow so much within the profession. In terms of just like what you do though, like what experiences or skills do you feel is really essential for success as a social worker, and how have you developed that over the years as you've evolved into an inpatient medicine social worker, which is pretty cool?
I think people should always have the desire to learn, because in this field, we are constantly learning. We need our continuing education credits, aka CEUs, for a reason.
That's right.
Things are constantly evolving within our field. There's constantly new things to learn. So just always having the desire to learn and develop yourself within this field. And you also must have empathy and patience, and know to always meet your client where they currently are and not where you want them to be. Because there are a lot of times where we may, starting out young in the field, you may want to be like, okay, well, I'm not considered successful unless all of my clients accomplish their goals. And so you have to erase that from your mind, to know that even if you've helped 1, 3, 4, 5 out of 20 of your clients, you still are successful.
That's right. And so are they, right?
Yeah.
Like, everyone's success is different. Everyone's definition of success is different, right? It may not be what you see for them, which is great. Like, we can see the potential in people, but it's what they want. And that's what's great about our profession too. Like, we're so heart focused, right? Client focused, human focused, right? And like goals are so important to us, and the client's goals. So it's, what do they want? And their success is really what matters the most.
Yeah, everyone is going to achieve their goals at their own pace.
Yeah.
Just because a person may have the same issues, the same background, the same trauma, doesn't mean that they're going to get to that level that you feel as though they should be at this point in time in their life, or that time that you're actually working with them.
But they're still a success.
Yes, they're definitely a success. Because they took the step to seek the help. So that right there is success. That's a step they took. That's a big step.
That's right. And it should be celebrated, right?
Exactly.
And especially when we talk about like the stigma within our community, and I think we've come a long way from that too. But even with our knowing, we're not always doing and acting. So if somebody came in and said, I need help, or, this is going on, I don't know about this, like, we got to give them credit for that.
Yeah, so you got to take it one step at a time, one moment at a time, 1 minute at a time with each client. And each step, regardless of how big it is or how small it is, it's still considered success for you and that client, because you're still guiding them and helping them along the way. I
love it. So finish the sentence for me. I wish people understood social workers.
Ooh, okay, because I wish people understood that social workers are not always the social worker or therapist for their family. We are strong and enjoy helping people, but we also need our mental health days and time to recharge, to take on the next day, week, or month as our job are unpredictable on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
So that we are well-rounded, we are strong, but we also have to remember to take care of ourselves, which is something that we forget to do.
Ooh, what a message. Yeah, I love it. It's as much as we are saluting the profession and the work, we've got to remember ourselves. We can't do this work if we don't take care of ourselves.
Exactly. You can't help somebody else if you're not, charged up, if you're not, together, if your life isn't in order, your things aren't in order.
Oh, I love it. Oh my goodness. So thank you so much. Like you've just touched on so many different things. I appreciate you and your time. Tonight we salute you and the advancements of our profession. Yes, well done. And I think, for anyone listening, if there's a social worker in your life, take a moment this month to tell them thank you for being an agent of change, right? For seeing the value in people, for celebrating the little steps. And maybe even invite them to this series as we really explore the excellence that is social work, right? My name is Amanda Fludd. I'm a proud social worker and entrepreneur with Delverene Mills, MPA, MSW, LCSW-C. Thank you guys for joining this conversation, and all the best. Happy social work month.